Okay guys, so I kinda hate making this video. For those of you who know my channel and me from the community and so forth, I will rage when I mess up, I will get angry or upset about my own gameplay, but for the most part I try to stay positive because I just don't really want to be angry and upset all the time. And as far as this game goes, I've been playing this game for over half a decade. It is an insanely good game. The company Kabam usually does most things pretty well in my eyes, and even though they've made some mistakes in the past, usually when people are like, we got to boycott the game or that kind of thing, don't do any more spending, I'm usually like, yeah, calm down. I don't see the point of that. This case, I feel like it's a little bit different. I'm specifically making this video to address what they have posted on the forums today and how that's going to affect players and the game going forward. So for the TLDR version of things, I just want to say, don't do this. Revert it. Don't go through with this change. It's a really bad idea, and you're really pissing off your player base. That said, let's go ahead and get into what the details are. I guess in the TLDR too, they're nerfing the revive farming that has been available in Act 3.2.6 since I believe they said November in the post of 2021. And people have been able to basically infinitely farm revives so long as they were willing to spend their energy and their time that way. And time is absolutely the most important thing that we have in life in general or in this game. It's more valuable than units, money, whatever. Time is the one thing you're not getting more of. So if people were choosing to spend their time infinitely farming revives, that was how they were going to spend it. And then they could use those revives to complete difficult content like the Abyss or the Eternity of Pain, the Karina's challenges, that kind of stuff. So, that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the breakdown of what this actually says. It is from the MCOC team. I think it's very telling that they put it out as being from the team rather than one of the community managers or moderators or whatever, because they don't want the blowback to be specific to any one person. And I would hope that nobody is doing any personal attacks against any of the developers or the community moderators or any of those people. That's unreasonable. There should be no personal attacks. That's not going to help us win our argument and state our case. So don't do that kind of stuff. I've met Kabam Mike, for example. He's a really nice guy in person. He's great. Sometimes I don't agree with everything he says, but that's beside the point. Don't be mean to him. He's doing his job, and this was not his decision or any of the other developers. Okay, so hello summoners, with the release of our April build, we will be changing the availability of revives and potions in early game content while simultaneously introducing a new way to earn consumables without having to rely on path RNG. Alright, I want to, first of all, make a note of that right there. That's the first thing that I think is pretty ridiculous. Because if we're talking about Act 3.2.6, no one cares about the RNG involved with that. Literally no one. Community member Easy1977, who appears in a lot of people's streams, has talked about it before. He's done the numbers, run through it 100 times on different ones, saying which paths in Act 3 are best for farming revives and so forth. Every once in a while, you're going to get a run where you don't get a revive to drop. Nobody cares about that. Literally, no one is complaining about that. You just go in there and you go, ah, darn, that sucks. Burn your 42 energy on whatever has the best rewards on that path, reset, and probably on the next one there'll be a revive. Sometimes there'll be two. Every once in a while, there's two revives on the same path with an energy refill in between it. It's great. I want you guys to remember this, though, for later on in the post, because then they specifically have something that deals with RNG in what they're proposing as a change to this system. But anyways, getting back to it, introducing a new way to earn consumables without having to rely on path RNG. Nobody cared. We understand this may result in frustration, do you now? But we hope you can see necessity for the changes and identify the compromise being implemented. Well, what do you mean, identify? You're telling us what the compromise is. The following will give you some insight from the game team about why Revive Potion access needs to change and what we're doing to address summoners' needs. So, Revive farming. We have been aware of Revive farming in the revised Acts 1 to 3 since late 2021. We had an intended fix in November 2021, but didn't want to remove a source of revives without having an alternate means of acquisition. Okay, so it's been in the game for basically 2 years now. Over the last year, not quite, we have seen high progression summoners farm hundreds of thousands of revives each day in early game content. Okay, well, tens of thousands of people play this game, so that makes sense. Whenever we release new endgame content, the farming reaches crazy new levels with numerous days topping 500,000 revives farmed. I don't care. This does not matter to me, and this should not matter to the community how many revives are being farmed. This is something that matters on Kabam's end for if people have to spend units to buy revives to get through content. This does not matter to the community. No one is saying that other people shouldn't be able to farm revives. I'm not mad that I can farm revives and so can someone else. No one's getting any kind of competitive advantage. Doesn't matter. Whenever we release new endgame content, the farming reaches crazy new levels, blah, 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 with numerous... Okay. Every day there's an average between 100 and K... No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's fine. Why make the changes? The frenzied revive farming trivializes difficult content like Karina's challenges and Eternity of Pain because summers simply spam revives. That is just flat out not true. I recently completed all of the Karina's challenges for Volume 3 in the Eternity of Pain, and I used a bunch of revives that I had farmed for free doing it, but I also used units that I had done Arena to get the units for. Could have easily been units that I had spent $100 on to buy an Odin and do that, right? I just chose to spend those units that I had gotten from Arena or from playing the game in other ways, or buying the daily or the monthly card that gives you units, because that's a great deal. So the frenzied revive farming trivializes, well, you using words like frenzied revive farming trivializes the amount of time that we're spending getting those revives. It's not like it's just nothing. You have to actually spend that time. You have to spend energy, which you can get from some ways in the game, but you also might have to spend your units on getting that energy. You're trivializing our hard work and our effort, and it's not that the Eternity of Pain just is ridiculously easy. Once you have those revives, it's still difficult. It's still very difficult content. For the average player, it is not the easiest thing to do. Multiple people in my alliance that I talked to spent units on it. Multiple people that I saw stream spent units on it. Yes, the people at the very top of the game who have the very best skills can get through that all for free. For example, Legacy, everybody knows Legacy in the community, spent about 30-some revives doing the double objective Juggernaut challenge in Karina's. I spent 70-something doing it. I don't have the same skill as he does. I spent 100 and something doing the Spider-Verse challenge one, including 1,000 or 2,000 units because I hadn't properly farmed enough. That stuff's going to happen all the time. So Kabam is still getting their due from that, and it's not like it's just ridiculously easy content that everyone can complete. There's plenty of people who aren't even attempting that content yet because they don't have the right characters to do it. So, first of all, that's just ridiculous. For us to allow what is effectively a loophole for these challenging pieces of content, we would have to dilute rewards given from that content, and that is not something we want to do. Why? Why would they have to dilute the rewards? What does it affect the game? How does it affect anything other than their business model? This is not like anyone who wants to spend that time farming for those revives, we all have to do that equally. We all spend our time equally, the most valuable resource that we have in the game or in life. So no one is getting an advantage by doing that. People who have bigger rosters can complete it more easily and can use fewer revives, but that's always how the game is going to be. There's no reason they would have to nerf the rewards just because we spent our time getting, revives, especially when the content is still really frustrating and difficult sometimes. And that's not something we want to do. Cool. Great. Without these changes, we risk having to cancel development on upcoming high difficult content currently in the works. I think that's probably the most insulting thing that they say in this post. That's absolutely ridiculous on the face of it. If you take more than 2 seconds to think about it, this is just completely ridiculous. We risk having to cancel development on upcoming high difficulty content. Well, think about it for a minute. Why would they have to stop developing high difficulty content if people could farm revives and do it? They've known this exploit, or whatever they want to call it, this loophole, was in the game since late 2021. That didn't stop them from releasing Act 8. That didn't stop them from releasing Summer of Pain, Eternity of Pain, the Karina's Volume challenges. It did not stop them from releasing any of that high difficulty content. So they're just flat out not telling the truth on that. And then, the way it comes across, it sounds like if a small child who's saying, if you don't play the game that I want you to play and the way that I want you to play it, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go home. But if you think about it for, again, more than just a couple seconds, that's absolutely ridiculous. The Kabam needs to release new content at a high difficulty level all the time, or otherwise people will just stop playing their game. There is serious Marvel burnout right now across the world. After Endgame and Infinity War, all that stuff came out, everyone's like, oh my god, I have to watch Doctor Strange to know what's going on in Quantum Mania. I gotta watch the Loki series to know that, like, people just aren't as interested in Marvel in general. So you're not gonna be getting a bunch of new players every time a new movie drops. And, you know, they have to continue to do things to make the game enjoyable for the people who are already here, for the player base that already exists. This is just insulting to our intelligence. It's an empty threat. It's a veiled threat saying, if you guys don't stop, doing this content for cheaper than we want you to do it, we're going to make it so you don't even get any new content. You obviously can't not make new content because everyone would stop playing the game then too. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's extremely insulting to our intelligence to even say this. They should have worded it differently. Whatever. Okay, let's move on. Changes to early game content. The biggest change you'll see is to revive drop rates across Acts 1 through 3, which they consider the prologue now. There are a number of factors that led to the current near certain drop rate of revives in 3.2.6. These drop rates have always been higher than intended. That's fine. You should have fixed it back then. You say you didn't want to fix it without providing some alternative. That's silly. If it was something that you learned about and it was never intended and we didn't have it for a couple of years, no one would be complaining about it. We'd be like, oh, dang it, that sucks, they took it away, but we all understand why they took it away. It wasn't intended in the first place. Instead, you allowed it to be in your game for a couple of years with the excuse of we want to take it away without replacing it in some... That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not believable. Higher than intended drop rates. Okay, fine. To address this, we have added other early game resources to the prologue revive spawn nodes. Okay, what? The end result is maps with these nodes will now have a lower drop rate for revives without negatively impacting the experience of early game accounts. Okay. For whom the content is designed. Farming revives will still be possible, but it will be much less efficient from a time and energy perspective. Can we get some numbers on that? You're just saying that, and then we're going to have to go as a community and figure out exactly what that means. Give us some hard data on this. You guys have all the data. You have to. I don't know what you'd be doing if you didn't. Give us the information. You're just going to say this. Okay. Anyways, we're aware that without farming these options, summoners will not have access to sufficient consumables. Oh, you're aware. Okay, great. To address this, we'll be introducing a new daily quest, the Apothecary. Cool. The name makes sense. That's fine. They'll run every weekday and provide what our team has deemed a reasonable amount of consumables. Okay, so you're going from infinite to what your team has deemed to be a reasonable amount of consumables. That kind of makes sense. Let's move on. Welcome to the Apothecary. The quest will reset daily and provide a source of consumables, including revives and health potions. The intention is implementing the Apothecary is to provide summoners with a guaranteed baseline number of consumables in exchange for a set amount of energy exchanged. Summoners will no longer need to rely on RNG while spending 42 energy in story content. Again, this is the second most insulting thing, like they said at the top of the post, of this whole post. Nobody cared about the RNG. Your RNG was great with these revive drops. Nobody cared. It's absolutely ridiculous. Summoners will no longer need to rely on RNG. No one was they dropped almost every time, and when they didn't, the next time would drop 2. Nobody cared. This is a bald-faced lie on their part. It's just ridiculous. Details. The Apothecary details. Structure. 2 difficulties, easy and hard. Only available from Monday until Saturday. So, why are these only available on the weekdays? I guess not even on Saturday. Sunday is the most boring day in Marvel Contest of Champions. There's no content to do on Sundays. There's arenas that suck. Making arenas that had revives or potions in them, that would be an actually good and useful idea. But the Sunday arenas suck. Almost nobody plays them. The only thing I like about Sundays in Marvel's Contest of Champions is that I usually can just take a break from the game for that day. But so when you could actually put something useful in the game that I would choose to do on Sundays to burn my energy, being this revive farming, you're like, no, can't do it on Sunday. It's the Lord's Day or something. You got to rest. You can't revive. Only the Lord can revive on Sundays. I don't know. Whatever. It's ridiculous. Anyways, each difficulty can be completed and explored for rewards once per day while available. Okay, you've decided to be once. No auto option. This does not read clearly when you're putting it in your forum post here. I originally understood that to mean you couldn't auto fight. What you're saying is that you can't go to it like a daily quest and hit the auto complete button, just spend the energy and get the rewards. At least that's my interpretation of it. You still could auto fight. That makes sense to me. I like to do things like this and combine them with something like the class combat events where you can get extra rewards. So makes sense that I can go through this and I can auto fight it with the high enough level team. Hopefully level 3s are, the special 3 is not available, so you can just go through there and farm it just the same as you could 3.2.6, and then also get some extra rewards for, say, mutant combat or cosmic combat or whatever happens beyond, if you choose to do that. However, why you can't just hit the button for auto complete and get the rewards without getting that extra stuff, I don't get it. It'd be nice if you explained why that wasn't an option. It'd be nice if you worded it better too. Moving on. The easy difficulty only has 2 paths, and the hard difficulty has 2 paths. It's also poorly worded. They both only have 2 paths. Easy difficulty costs 1 energy per node. Exploration costs 17. Okay. Hard mode costs 2 and is 48. Great. So slightly more than the other one. Provides guaranteed potions or revives with a chance for more. Okay. Chance for more. You seeing where I'm going with this RNG part? Completing easy difficulty grants you 1 level 1 healing potion. That's just insulting. 375 points? Potions should have been percentage-based years ago. When the game was first introduced and characters had a tiny health pool, it made sense for them to be 375. That's fine. 1 level 1 healing potion? Are you kidding me? Seriously, it's like you're seriously trying to insult your player base at this point. Even if you're a brand new player that does nothing. I have a rank 5 6-star champion that I couldn't use, I don't even know how many it would take to heal him up. That's fine. People who are just starting the game, maybe they have a rank 4, rank 5, 4-star champion they're using for most of their content. 375 healing points, it does nothing. It's nothing. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. It's just insulting. Don't even include it. I'd rather not even have that in there than to give me 1 level 1 healing potion? Oh, and if you explore it the whole way, you get a level 2. I do 1 fight against Realm of Legends Winter Soldier and I get a level 3. Level 1 and level 2. Completing hard difficulty grants a level 4 potion. Okay, slightly better. Not great, but slightly better. Exploring hard gives you 1 level 1 revive. Okay, so 120% revive. I've gone from infinite to 1 a day. Thank you. That's totally sufficient. Great. One of the paths of the easy quest also has an empty node containing 1 level 1 alliance quest healing potion. No one cares. Not even slightly. While the other has a 99% chance of containing 1 level 1 healing potion. I'm speechless at this. And a 1% chance of containing 1 level 1 revive. You just said one of your main reasons, your excuse for nerfing 3.2.6 was so that we wouldn't have to rely on the nearly 100% revive drop rate. And you're going to give that down now to 1%? 1%! Are you guys insane? What are you thinking? This is just insulting. One of the passive hard quest also has an empty node containing 1 level 1 team healing potion. Again, you get a level 3 all the time from doing Realm of Legends, which you can auto fight if you have a high enough level character, or you can manually fight even with lower level characters and skill. And you hardly ever use team health potions in this game anyways, but a level 1 is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It doesn't help at all anyone. And then you have a 5% chance of a level 2 revive. Cool. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, am I taking crazy pills? This whole thing, they start out by saying they don't want to make it about RNG, and then they end with saying, we've given you a chance of getting a second potion every day with really, really, really terrible RNG. Whereas when you go into 3.2.6, it almost always dropped a revive, and when it didn't, it dropped 2 oftentimes the next time around. So, like, I don't know, 20% of the time it would drop 2 revives. I don't know exactly the percentage is, but it's pretty high. Happens quite a lot where you go down one path and then you go down another to finish it off. It's just, this is... I just, I thought we had moved past this. Every time anybody's ever mentioned a boycott since 12.0 came out, I'm like, you guys, no, this is ridiculous. I don't care about this nerf or that nerf or whatever. This is just insulting. This is absolutely insulting and ridiculous. We're not children. There are children who play this game, but treating them as if they were stupid enough not to understand how lame this is also a mistake. Much more so when most of your player base are adults. I don't know. Like I said, I hate being negative. I hate this. This has already come up on one stream today. It's going to come up on more. And this is going to be a huge thing going forward. As far as solutions, don't do this. This is a really bad idea. If you want to go ahead and carry through with this, you got to up the drop rates. You got to make it guaranteed with this apothecary thing. You got to... It's not even about that. It's not even about that. It's just the way you treat your player base. The one thing that I think that Kabam consistently messes up is that they don't understand the main point of a video game is it's an escape for people. It's supposed to be fun. You already introduced recently Thronebreaker Event Quest, which all the feedback I've gotten from the people I talked to in the community is it's not fun. It's a slog to get through. It takes a lot more time. You make chapters which are good for a particular class type, and they gain bonuses from it, so it makes it fun to play some unusual champions, and then you put a character on each lane that you can't get around by using those champions, and so you have to use a revive or something. It's just not fun. If you need to look up a guide or plan ahead for act content that's there permanently, all right, that's not that bad. You can figure that out. But for the monthly content you have to do, or you feel like you have a fear of missing out, you're not getting those rewards, it's not fun. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to scout out my lanes when I'm doing the regular monthly event quest. I don't have to use my resources, which are going to become infinitely more limited now that I can't farm revives anymore to finish Thronebreaker event quest. It's not fun. You need to make your game fun. That is the main point of playing a video game. This is the exact opposite of that. You are pissing off your player base to no end for what? I assume that Kabam must be making the calculation that in the end they can make this change and do this, and that it's going to net them more money in the future. But right now, I'm not going to try to boycott the game, but I'm personally done spending on it. I'm not doing the monthly card for units. I'm not doing a early access bundle. I'm not going to do... I was going to spend money on the spring cleaning thing. I was probably going to max that out. A couple $100 there. I'm not going to get the sigil anymore. I'm not going to do any of that stuff if you leave this unaddressed. I think that this could actually turn this into a pretty big win for Kabam. They could go, oh, hey guys, we thought about this some more. This is a very unpopular move in the community. We have heard you. We're going to not implement the nerf to 3.2.6. However, we are going to introduce the apothecary in this new update. So that way, if you do want to have a guaranteed way of getting a revive for your energy expenditure, you have it. So we'll back off on this nerfing thing. Never mind about that. That was a mistake. The content is clearly still coming out, the difficult content, and we respect the amount of time and energy you put into that, but we'll give you this new way of getting a guaranteed revive every day. Do that. Then, yeah, you're going to have pissed people off, but you can save face and make it so that this is actually a good thing. I don't know. There's other points I want to cover. There's more of this that I want to talk about. Everyone else is going to be talking about this, and we're going to be talking about this in streams, I'm sure, coming up. Please, if you've made it through this video, leave a comment down below. Give me your thoughts about particular parts of this. If I'm wrong in my thinking, if there are things that I'm missing. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, subscribe. I'm going to be talking about this way more than I would like to in all of my upcoming streams and other people's streams, and until they do something about this, basically. 'Cause it's going to drive people away from the game, and new fans of MCOC are not growing on trees. Marvel's not as popular as it was a few years ago. They're not just coming out of the woodworks. You guys need to keep the players you have. Whales are probably still going to whale, but this is going to turn a lot of people free to play. Maybe their calculation is that in a little while down the road, people will forget about it and just move on. It's just a really, really bad idea, and I hope you guys change your mind about this. Anyways, thanks for listening to me rant, guys. Seriously, do leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Do come by some streams, and we'll talk about this some more. Fun day for being a Marvel MCOC YouTuber. Cheers, guys.